Hello. I really feel like I need to introduce myself because it feels like I haven't done one of these allotment videos in absolutely ages. And I do really apologise for the lack of everything allotment related this year so far. Life has been very, very hectic, but it's been great, don't get me wrong, it's been amazing. It's been the best year so far. But obviously I've been busy with my personal life in Wales, but we won't go into that much. But it's been great, it's been amazing. And obviously there's work, which right now is just starting to really lift off. We obviously sell online, but we do garden shows as well, and they've been sort of every other weekend. Our first show was the Good Friday weekend, and then we just come back from a show which we did the weekend just gone. So really it's been a matter of a garden show one weekend, then driving up to Wales the next weekend, and then a garden show. I think it's just going to continue like that. So the allotment has been put on the back burner for a little while, but it's nice to be up here again. I really missed it, and the sun's shining, and there's a bit of a breeze, and the birds are singing, and what more could you want? But no, there's lots to do today. But before I get chatting about all the gardening stuff, I would just like to mention a few people that I met at the show we just done in Newbury, the Newbury Flower Show. I met a lady who watches the YouTube videos, and I didn't manage to catch your name, but if you're watching, then hello. There's also a couple of people that follow me on Instagram. The lovely Ruby from Minstrel Cottage Cotswolds, I think is her Instagram name, and the lovely Annabelle, and her Instagram name is Living with Belle, and she has a blog called life@number27.com. She was really lovely, and I know she's quite a big fan, so if she's watching this as well, hello. It was really nice to talk to her, and it's nice to, to feel appreciated about the videos, because it does take a lot of time, and it's not just a matter of popping up the allotment, taking a quick video and then going home again. I honestly think that I would have the most tidiest plot on the site if I didn't do the videos, because it does take a lot of setting up. So it's nice when people come up to you and say that they like the videos, and that you inspire them. It's nice, and that's the whole point of doing the videos, to share ideas and share tips, and hopefully inspire people to get out in the garden to grow your own. I don't do the videos to listen to myself talk, because that's just awful. But no, it's nice to meet people. So head on over to the blog, and there's a list of all the events and all the garden shows that we're going to this year. And if you are local to any of them, then pop by and say hello, because it's nice to talk gardening with other people that aren't my dad. It's really nice. So yeah, head on over to the blog and look at our events page. The next event is in Firle Place, which is down Brighton Way, and that's on the 22nd, 23rd and 24th of April, so hopefully we will see some of you there. So that's all that. I'll stop talking about that and get on to the gardening. Now today's going to be really busy, there's lots to do. I need to plant out the potatoes, plant out the onion sets, sow some carrots and sow some radish. What I'm going to do is I will show you how to sow and how to plant out these things, but if you want to know anything in more detail, then head on over to the channel, and there's a playlist called Guides, and there's a few videos in there where I show you how to chit, grow and plant out potatoes, and there's also one on how to grow onion sets in the greenhouse, and also plant them outside. So if I don't go into them in much detail here, then head on over to the YouTube channel and you can watch the videos there. because I realise I do talk too much. I'm probably talking too much now, and there's a lot to do, and I want to try and fit it into this video. I want to try and fit it in today, but it's 3:45, and even though it doesn't get dark till like 8 o'clock now, which is great, so great, I can't wait until, you know, you can be up the allotment till 10, but that'll be a little while yet. So yeah, I'll be planting out potatoes, onion sets, sowing carrots, sowing radish, and if I've got enough time, I'm going to tidy the water butt area by the side of the shed, because that needs a good tidy. I'll go into the varieties which I'm growing as I'm planting them out, but I think I'm going to stop talking and get gardening. Otherwise I'll just be stuck in this shed talking to you all day. So yes, I'm going to get gardening. So this is quite a new addition to the plot, but because my plot's so tiny, because there was space at the end of this path just going spare, I thought I'd put this old tank here and try and grow some radish in it. I tasted radish for the first time this year, and it was delicious, especially nice with cheese, and I love cheese, so I thought I'll try and grow some radish. And in this tank there's room for 3 rows, and luckily enough my dad had these 3 packets of radish seed going spare, so there's 3 different varieties here, so I thought I'd try 1 row of each, see if they taste any different, pick out the best one, the one that grows the best, and just try them really. So yeah, there's 3 different varieties here. They're all radish. One's called French Breakfast 3, and that's a longer variety of radish. Then there's another one called Sparkler 3, which is red with a white tip. And then the last one is called Scarlet Globe, and that's just entirely red. So there's 2 sort of standard round sized radish, and then 1 long cylindrical one. So I thought I'd give all 3 a try. So there's going to be 3 rows in here. Each row needs to be 9 inches apart, and the radish needs to be sown about 1/2 inch deep. So I'm just going to make a drill with this bit of bamboo here. Now what I will do throughout the year is I will do a successional sowing of radish. So once these come up and they're harvested, then I will sow some more seed. That way you can get crops throughout the whole year, which is perfect. Now what I might do, if there's any chance of frosts with this sowing, is I might use one of the cloche hoops that we sell in our shop, and cut the plastic down so it fits perfectly over the tank, just to protect them from any frost. That way I can get a sort of early harvest. So I will put 1 row of Scarlet Globe in here. Just sprinkle the seed out. Obviously you can thin them once they start to grow. So I like to sow a few extra seeds than needed, just in case. So that's 1 row of Scarlet Globe. Just cover them back up gently. So 1 more row of Sparkler 3 and 1 row of French Breakfast 3. Each row's 9 inches apart, and the drills are 1/2 inch deep. And it's that simple. So I'll sow these 2, and then I will get on with the carrots, I think. So let's do these ones. So I just put 1 row of carrots in, but there's room for 2 rows of carrots here. And what I've done a month before now is I double dug all the vegetable beds, and I laid a cloche hoop over where the carrots are going just to warm the soil, because the plan with the carrots was to produce a early crop. So ideally I would have liked to have put my carrots in before now, at least a couple of weeks before, but like I said, I've been a bit busy, so I haven't had time to sow the carrots. So they're going in now, but the variety which I'm growing is called Nantes 5, and they are an early cropping variety. So hopefully I'll get an early crop, and then there'll still be plenty of time later on when they're harvested to put another sowing of the carrots in to get another crop. And what I will just quickly say is I haven't manured where the carrots are going, because supposedly manure is supposed to make your carrots fork, and I want to try and get some nice straight long carrots this year. So I haven't manured this bit. I've manured to about 6 inches away from the carrots, and because the rest of the legumes and the rest of the brassicas in these 2 beds can have manure. And then obviously there's a pile here which I'm going to be putting in the bottom of the trenches for the potatoes. So let's just sow this last row. So when you're sowing carrots, you try your very hardest to sow them evenly. Obviously when the carrots come up, you can start to thin them out, but it's best not to handle the carrots. Well, it's best to handle them as little as possible, really, because once you start to touch the green foliage, then that attracts the carrot fly, and of course that's not a good thing. But what I tend to do is when the carrots come up, and when, well, if they need thinning out, and they usually do because I usually sow too much seed, I always put a protective barrier around them, and that's really just a white fine mesh. You can buy them from any garden centres. They're actually specifically for carrots, to protect against the carrot fly, and they're about 1 metre high, because carrot fly can't fly any higher than 1 metre. And I mean, I've always used them, I've never had a problem with carrot fly, but then there hasn't been a time when I haven't used the barriers, so it's always worth protecting your crops just in case, because there's nothing worse than harvesting any root vegetables and finding that they've been nibbled underneath. Right, just cover them back over. So if there's going to be any frosts, I will pop the cloche back over just to protect them from the cold and from the frosts. And I'll give them a quick water, just a little bit of a water, because it rained quite a lot yesterday and the soil was still quite damp. So I'll give them a little water, and then I will have to move this pile of manure because the red onions are going there. So the red onions are going in. They're actually very simple to plant out. I have, like I said, I've got a how to grow onion sets in the greenhouse and plant them out video on the guide playlist on the YouTube channel, so it's all there. But what I basically done was I grew the onion sets in these module trays in the greenhouse on the 11th of February, and they've come out like this, which is ideal for planting out. Obviously you can direct sow them, but this just gives them a little bit of a head start. You could actually start planting them out when they're about 6 inches tall. So again, I've left this a little bit too late, but it's better late than never. So each onion set is going 6 inches apart, and if you're doing more than one row, then each row needs to be roughly 12 inches apart. I'm only putting one row in here, that's all I have room for, and because I've never tried red onions before, it's a little bit of an experiment to see if I can grow them. But I quite like red onions. So yeah, 6 inches apart, and each row needs to be 12 inches. So 2 more in here. Now let me get one out to show you. You can see by the roots that they are ready to go out. That's not too bad actually, just quite perfect. I'm quite proud of how they've turned out already. I hope I get a nice harvest anyway. So when you plant the red onions, the tips just need to be showing of the actual bulb. So there's one more, let's pick a nice one. This one here. Put that in. And they are done. Probably the simplest thing I've ever planted out, but I do use a dibber. You can actually buy these from our shop. They're really handy. I would be lost without my dibber. You can sow your broad beans with them, you can plant out your leeks, your onions, you can do almost anything with them. So that's the red onions done. That's all I can do in this bed so far, because there's going to be some leeks, some courgettes, some sweet corn, French beans and pumpkins in this legume bed. So it's on with the potatoes. It's getting a bit late now, I might need to come back another day. I'm glad they are in. Oh. So it's day 2 on plot 15C. I didn't actually have time to put the potatoes in the other day, so I'm up here today in the glorious sunshine to put the potatoes in, but don't fall off into a trench. So what I've done this morning is I've dug 4 trenches. because that's all my potato bed will fit in because it's so small. So there's 4 trenches here. Each trench is 24 inches apart, and I have dug the trenches to roughly 8 inches. Now what I've done as a little bit of an experiment this year is I've put some well-rotted manure in these 2 trenches into the bottoms, but these 2 trenches I'm going to leave just soil, just as a little bit of an experiment to see how well the rows produce. Last year I used well-rotted manure in all the trenches, and it did produce really well, but it'll be interesting to see if they grow just as well in plain soil, because obviously I rotate my beds so when they do get the nutrients in them. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So let's talk about the potatoes. Now the variety which I'm growing is called International Kidney. It's the same variety which I grow every year, so this will be the 3rd year that I've grown these. They are an early salad variety, and they are formerly known as Jersey Royals, although because we're not in Jersey, we're not allowed to call them Jersey Royals. So yeah, they're international kidneys, and they are delicious, and the best thing about them is that you don't need to peel the skin off. You can obviously give them a scrub, get the dirt off, and they are delicious, and they're especially nice, you know, when you have a barbecue and salad. They are for me like the ultimate summer potato. So yeah, I'm growing 4 rows of all International Kidney this year. Last year I tried Charlotte, but International Kidney were just delicious. So I'm going to plant these ones up. I will quickly mention that I do like to chit my potatoes. So I bought these around the middle of February, and they've been chitting for, well, since then. It was quite a long time really. And they've produced these beautiful purple healthy shoots, and a few of them have some leaves on, so they are ready to go in. What else was I going to say? Yes. Also, another experiment which I'll be doing this year is I have cut one of my potatoes in half. So each half has a healthy chit on. Now, I read in one of the old gardening books, which my granddad has, that ultimately if a part of the potato has a chit on, it will grow. So this is going to be an experiment, the first time I've done this year. And obviously the other half I think is in the front of this row, so I'm going to be putting this in the front of the non-manured row, just so I know where they are. But it would be great to see if they produce, you know, the same amount as a whole seed potato does, because obviously then it will mean that you can halve your cost of seed potatoes next year, because obviously you can buy half the amount and then cut them in half, but you do need to make sure that each part has a healthy chit on them, otherwise it'll just be more difficult to grow. So yes, I'm going to put these last 2 rows in and then just cover them back up again with soil. If there is a frost, don't worry too much. If you do have some potatoes that are starting to pop out of the soil and there's going to be a frost, then just earth them up, and that should protect them from the frosts. Really, you should be earthing them up every now and again anyway, just because that will give you more potatoes, and it will make a healthier plant, and also it will protect the growing potatoes from the sunshine, because if they are exposed to the sunshine, then it will turn them green and they will become poisonous. So just a little thing for you to watch out. And that's the whole point of making sure your rows are at least 24 inches apart, because you've got that room then to earth the soil up onto each row. And obviously you can plant your potatoes closer together. I plant mine about 12 inches apart. But obviously if you plant them closer together, you will get a smaller crop of potatoes from each plant. So just keep that in mind as well. So I'm going to put the potato I cut in half in the front of this row. And then each potato is roughly 12 inches apart. So I will finish these 2 rows and then I will cover them up, and that will be the potatoes done, finally. So day 2 on the plot is done and dusted. It took me 2 days to do everything on my list, but it's done. I mean, the potatoes have been planted, the onions are in, the carrots have been sown, the radishes have been sown, and I managed to tidy up the area by the side of the shed. So I've moved my water butt forward so I can get to it at the front here, and I've raised it up just by cutting down a couple of pallets. So now the watering can fit underneath, and when I turn it on, it can fill up nice. It was actually half full, but we had to empty it a little bit just so we could lift it up onto the platform. So that's the water butt done. I really do want to put some guttering on the side of my shed so it can go into the water butt, but that'll be another job for another day. I've also put the bamboo canes up behind because there's sort of like a 50 centimetre, 60 centimetre square area behind the water butt now. And what I would like to do is build like a wooden storage thing to put all the bamboo canes in. But for now, everything's sort of just piled up there. But it looks tidier, and I might put some grass seed down here because it's all muddy. But yeah, it looks tidier. The shed does need a good paint. I think, when did I paint it? About 3 years ago, I think. So yeah, it needs a couple of coats. What I might do is paint the inside cream as well, just to make it look a bit tidier. But yeah, there's plenty of other jobs that need doing. For instance, the flower border needs weeding, the strawberry beds need weeding, the pond needs weeding, things need pruning, the grapevine needs pruning, the gooseberries need pruning, so I have to do them soon. I also need to sort out the fruit cage because I need to section off the raspberry cane bit from the rest of it. But yeah, I think that's the whole joy of having an allotment. It would be nice, to come up here more often and tick the jobs off. But obviously I've been busy and I've been having a great time. So I suppose that's just life. But no, it's all coming together and everything's starting to, grow. There's buds on the apple tree. There's, buds on the rose. The frogs are starting to appear in the pond. And the tulips are starting to come out. And they look absolutely beautiful. There's only 4 out at the moment. But they were so nice last year. So I'm really looking forward to them all being in bloom. But like I said, the sun's shining. I can't think of a better way to spend, a day or two than to come up the allotment in the sunshine. And I have really missed it. But that's it for this episode. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.